Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show brought to you by the San Diego Council on Literacy on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. Our guest today is from a project that is totally new. We're really excited about. We've been talking over the last months about this writing project. So listening and broadcasting with us is our guest from Collaboration Jam. We have with us Zachary Hebert. Zachary, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be here.
So glad you're here. Well, we've talked about this a little bit, maybe for a while. What would be a good way to get Zachary on the show? And then he came up with this literacy-related event. I call it literacy-related. This is a literacy show. We're interested in anything that's going to help people read better, write better.
If you want to write, you got to read.
Yeah, if you want to write, you got to read. There's one thing, too. See, now, how come I missed that? And it's a really good point. And then you have what we see as reluctant writers and such, and people who can write who don't for various reasons. But I want to start with who the heck is Zachary Hebert? How did you get where you are today with Collaboration Jam? And really talk about maybe your experiences as a young person, a learner, a student, and maybe your experiences as a reader, writing, what you liked about school, what you didn't like, and maybe we'll get into Collaboration Jam and the real details about it because we're going to do this for 4 segments. So take it away, Zachary. Tell us about yourself.
Well, this project has really caught me by storm. It started as something simple, but immediately blew up. And it has a direct relation to what I have been going through in my life. I prefer to collaborate with others because I am not comfortable writing myself, or at least I haven't been for a while. That has changed recently. But I went through a not so optimal experience in school. Mm-hmm. I was put into a special ed program for advanced students, and they had their own philosophy for how to educate their students. So basically, they, like my aunt likes to put it, force-fed a tomato until they can't eat tomatoes ever again in their life. Mm-hmm. So we had to write and read like we were college students. And that made reading and writing not a fun activity for me to do from then on. They did the red pen a lot. We would all do a paper and then set them on the table and walk around to other people's papers and just correct it. There was no praise going on. And one day I walked up to my teacher and said, "Why do you do this to us?" She says, "Because we think you can handle it."
Mm-hmm. And it did the opposite of what it was supposed to do. I mean, and I'm thinking right now as I'm listening to you, understanding what I understand about teaching and about the students we work with, this is kind of like the wrong way to do it. I mean, because what you're taking are because you're telling it as a person, you just are, and then here we take this, and you put it quite nicely. For me, it's like eating too many raw hot dogs. I did that growing up as a kid. We used to do that. I can't, if I had one of those, I'd die. And so I can understand what you're saying in terms of having learning force-fed to you. So now you're not really crazy about it. And you were able to do it.
Yeah, it took a long time to get over that, I guess I want to say it, trauma. But yeah, now my sheer drive for writing has gotten me over that hump. And I am still making progress on my obstacles towards reading. I wish to be able to read a novel soon without getting overly anxious. But when it comes to writing, I just have stories to tell. I need to be creative. Mm-hmm. And so that has pressured me in, of course, a good way because it's my passion, to overcome the obstacles that I've been facing.
So I understand your passion too for technology and for problem solving. And there's other things that you've been doing out there, methodocracy. We could probably talk about that a little bit. And then I know you're very much into technology. With Collaboration Jam, you're looking at something that kind of combines things. Which was more the driving force for you in terms of putting that together? Was it the opportunity to engage people with technology, or was it the whole idea of writing and writing teams and getting people to compete and have fun?
And just to clarify, you're talking about Collaboration Jam right now? Okay, yeah. So Collaboration Jam was haphazard in its inception. So I noticed that, well, first of all, I like collaborating, but second of all, I tend to abandon my projects with a shiny new idea. I'm always starting something new because my mind just can't stop and I have to pursue these new ideas. So I thought, well, in order to get an actual finished project out of myself, I would need to have a limit to the amount of time I have. So I created a little tiny group where we timed ourselves for 48 hours and we collaborated. And even before the first jam, which is we call the competition, happened, it took off. I did not expect it to go this much. Everybody is on board. Everybody is passionate about furthering the objectives of Collaboration Jam. And I've been blessed with fantastic volunteers. And we'll see what kinds of new milestones we can reach.
And with this, I mean, we'll get more again into the whole process of a jam and what takes place and such. But what you've done in putting this together is you've responded to two of the challenges of writing, and one of them is how or when do I get started, and then the other is how or when will this ever end. And so you provide a starting place for the competition, and it's not a long one. So it tells people you start now, and it gives people something else that they need, which is a deadline. And so that is quite attractive to me because being a writer myself who doesn't write a whole lot, except for I do it for fun, but I don't do it enough. I don't do it enough of it. And part of the reasoning is, well, I need a big chunk of time to do this, or what is that chunk of time? And you're saying, here's the start, here's the finish. It's 2 days, and you don't have to put that much. You don't have to put more time into it than that, and you're not alone.
Yeah, for the longest time, I've always been searching for accountability myself. In some shape or form, I've been trying with different systems to have people hold me accountable. And not only does this new venture hold people accountable, it also creates an entire community around the idea where people are helping each other with their stories that are outside of the scope of Collaboration Jam. There's now a channel on our chat program dedicated towards being accountable buddies, like accountable buddies.
I love it. Yeah.
Accountable buddies. And so we are holding each other accountable for getting a certain word count every day, every week, or what have you. And just like every single one of our channels we've created on this chat program, it's immensely popular.
Very good. And you're introducing some vocabulary that we, at least I don't tend to think about when it comes to writing. And one of them is accountability, what I would call discipline or self-discipline. In this case, because you're working with another word that you use, community of people or a team, then now you're responsible. You're responsible. We let ourselves down as writers, but it's kind of hard to let down other people, let down your teammates, for example. In this case, that you've made a commitment. So I like that aspect of what you're doing with this.
And the only times that we have not been able to follow through is when someone doesn't show up in the first place. So once people make that initial commitment, everybody follows through, and we have very passionate stories coming out of this collaboration.
I've had the opportunity to read some, we call it scripts or whatever, from the organizers as well as a little bit from writers, and it's just really quite interesting. The
Yes.
thinking process.
Yes, a superhero that's going through menopause.
Yeah, that
stuff like
kind of
that.
right. That and people, they're funny and creative and happy to share. I mean, I would think it would be the opposite, that people are a little bit more closed about what they're going to write about, or a little bit conservative about sharing ideas, and they're not. You know, they like doing it, so it's quite a fun experience to be in on some of the dialogue that goes back and forth.
It's definitely a community surrounded around this.
Yeah, and then the organizers, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, right? And again, more fun. They have kind of that writer mentality. They're just a creative group of people who are thinking and happy to exchange, and really making it feel pretty good to be a part of this whole experience. So this world that you've created for writers and that community and such. So we're about done. You'll be surprised how fast the segments go. But we have about 35 seconds left in this segment, and we're going to get into the other aspects of the work that you're doing, Zachary, with this. Can you just at this point tell us an email address or website address for Collaboration Jam in case somebody doesn't listen to the next segment?
The website is Collaboration Jam, like the jelly jam, .wordpress.com.
Very good. I'm learning more about what people are doing with WordPress. That's a whole other thing. So we'll be right back. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We're talking to Zachary Hebert from Collaboration Jam. And this is WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. Stand by for segment 2.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and our guest is Zachary Hebert. He's the founder of Collaboration Jam. We've been talking about really just some of the foundational experiences that he's had with reading and writing, and getting to the point that we are now. And we talked during the break, and it's like, let's explain to people what Collaboration Jam is. And I know that's kind of hard when you're really into it, but just pretend nobody's ever heard of this thing. What the heck is it? The whole idea of the internet, and how does Collaboration Jam work, and why, and what's the point? There we go.
Well, we are all here to promote literacy. And like I said before, you can't write if you don't know how to read. And we have a need for good books in this world. And in order to make those good books, we have to have writers that are willing to take their passion all the way to the end. There's a problem that I want to tackle, is that writers tend to be alone in their craft. Sometimes they elicit feedback from others, but generally the task itself is solitary. So my solution is to use online technology to bring writers together so that they can write collaborative works. As a bonus, they get to learn how to write in teams, which is needed in the real world. You have Hollywood film and television, which are almost always written in teams. And there are a lot of other arenas where these skills would come in use. Now, how it works is people join a chat program called Discord, and there is a server that we have on that app. Do note, you don't have to download it. It can be right on your Safari or Mozilla Firefox, but you create an account, and there's a whole community established around this idea. The main thing that we do is we host jams, which are like events where the participants have 48 hours to complete a work. At the beginning, not only are there teams announced, but also the theme, the prompt, and the rubric are announced, so nobody can prepare ahead of time. There's a hard deadline at the end of the 48-hour period, and people are only in the running for first place if they're able to fit the word count that we have set for the jam, and have submitted their piece in time.
There is a word limit?
Yes, it depends on the jam. I made a mistake because let's just say my lifetime word count is very low. So I had trouble determining how long exactly 30,000 words is. And so I thought it was going to be a lot shorter, but it turns out somebody took advantage about 1/3 of that, and it was long. So
maybe 12 pages. Does that sound about right?
More like longer.
Longer than that?
Longer than that,
okay.
yeah. So I put a little bit of a challenge on my judging team this last jam. But they were able to pull through and read it all, and they enjoyed themselves.
That's right.
They enjoyed themselves.
Somebody's got to read this stuff.
Yes.
And so the rubric is what the judges use. This is how they measure the quality of the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. We have decided that no matter what the prompt is, we want a finished product that is ready to be published, and that has all of the elements necessary to make it a good piece.
And what's the difference between the prompt and the theme?
Well, it depends on which one is given. For example, the first jam, there was a prompt, and that prompt was, let me see if I can remember it. It's as of this moment forward, everyone can read your mind. You have deep, dark secrets that will all be revealed within 10 minutes. So that was more of a prompt. And the second jam that just came this last weekend was a theme. It was just 2 words, world building, which is, I'm sure most people understand what world building is. Some examples are Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, just building a whole universe behind the story that is being told, something that can be explored in extended universes or whatnot.
So by doing things that way, you reduce the likelihood that someone's going to come in with a pre-existing work. You know, that's going to be one of the questions. So there's that. Maybe we can talk about that later, but I don't think that's a big issue because you kind of covered that. But how do you assure that what you're getting from a team is actually a team project, that there is actual collaboration happening?
Well, there's a lot of trust that takes place. It is stated clearly in our policies and legal document that teams are random. And if you're paired with teammates that don't pull their weight, well, if they drop out, let's just say you're disqualified.
Okay.
It's a lot of luck involved, and you have to work together. And the thing is our participants are passionate enough that they want to do this right. They want to do it the correct way. And so far, we've had a great group. In the future, we will be more prepared for different scenarios that arise, and that's part of our plans with incorporating with a certain nonprofit.
So what are the team sizes? We'll come back to that, to the nonprofit too.
So team sizes, so far there's been 2 jams, and both jams, team sizes have been comprised of 2 people. But don't tell anyone this is a secret. The next jam...
We promise not to broadcast this on the radio.
Next jam, I'm going to aim for about 5 people per team.
Nice.
And that's going to be a whole different beast. We'll see how that turns out.
And I know I had questions before, and I was a little bit skeptical because of maybe because I value being a lone writer, and I think a lot of us do. But there is what you call role playing, and there also is what you described as the industry of writers who work together. I mean, just think of Saturday Night Live, those comedians who are back there somewhere writing these scripts together for the next Saturday Night Live show. So there are such things as writing teams and role playing and such. So people understand that, at least in the community, I think that you're communicating with.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that the ultimate start to this collaboration jam was role-playing. Role-playing is basically like Dungeons & Dragons, but without the dice, without the pieces of paper or pencils, without the minifigures grid, just pure storytelling where each player controls a character. And that is where I got my love of collaboration, is because my girlfriend and my mom are always bugging me about saying, so... And what I mean by that is, do you want to role play right now?
Oh, I see. Okay. And is that, I heard something I hadn't heard before, and it makes sense given what you've just said. But in role playing, you are a person, somebody else is a different person, and you're writing down what your character is thinking or saying.
Yes, and typically, one person controls all the non-player characters and the story and the challenges and stuff to overcome, how the characters succeed or fail. But the groups that I like to participate in, primarily in Facebook, it's shared, that responsibility. So it's more of a shared authorship. And it's very close to what we're doing with Collaboration Jam right now.
Oh, yeah. When I'm thinking, if you're a person who has experience in role-playing, you're going to have maybe a little bit more practice than the average person coming into Collaboration Jam who hasn't done that before.
And the whole community of role-playing has a certain target audience. People aren't writers coming into it. People who want to participate don't have superb writing skills. And so they are passionate people who are more willing to jump into a collaborative project. And there's a whole world of new potential writers out there who want to get involved.
Well, yeah, I really like that you brought that up because, especially with emerging writers, when you look at, and you talked about the whole red penciling, the red ink thing, and correcting papers and all that. And here's what we do to young people, because we have them write, and then we judge them based upon penmanship, spelling, punctuation, capitalization, complete sentences, grammar use. I know I'm forgetting something. But certainly a lot of things to think about in the course of writing, enough to make you hate writing, in essence. And then here's, I've done this work, I turned it in, and now I have all these marks on it because I didn't understand. And a lot of people, they
and then
think.
there's the whole social promotion thing.
There's that. But there's the whole idea of, look, I'm creative, I'm smart, I have a story to tell, but I don't write because I'm a bad speller, which just doesn't, that's not, that some people will never be good spellers. But that's not what good writing is about, and I think that's kind of one of the things that gets communicated out there. So I want to talk to you more about that, because you're saying that there are people who aren't necessarily writers, but they participate, and so why does that happen, and then how does that affect maybe what you see when you're taking the rubric and looking at what's been submitted. Whether things are grammatically correct or bad spelling or all those kinds of things.
We actually have been overlooking that a little bit, but
yeah, and I would guess so. So I think that's a really good thing if the idea is communication. So we're going to be back with Zachary Hebert and Collaboration Jam. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in internet talk.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com. Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.